Hello, everybody. All 15 of you. Happy Friday. Let's see. Yo, anime and manga channel. King Rod. Let me share the screen. To share this window. Cool. Okay, awesome. How are you guys doing today? You guys having a good end of week? All that good stuff? Are you having a terrible week and this is your only reprieve from the existential horror that consumes your existence? This is much better. Okay.
Hey, Rod.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Not bad. I can't stay for very long, but I thought I'd join you because I've just finished filming something else for Copy That. So
Awesome. Okay.
I was in StreamYard and I thought, hey, I'll pop in for 5-10 minutes before I have to do stuff.
Fuck yeah.
How's it going, man? I heard
It's
that you're less able than usual.
I'm less able. I am more disabled, yes. I'm good. We have a series of holiday parties every year.
Uh,
And so last week was like the big company holiday party where they rented out like a whole little building thing and like had it catered and stuff. And then last night they have a thing they call pen and tablet, which is basically like they turn all of our designers turn one of these rooms into like an old English pub basically, and they dress everyone up with like the bowler caps. We have a bunch of like our British people come in and be like waiters and waitresses. They serve Scotch eggs.
our British people. I like that phrase.
Oh yes, the ones that belong to us.
Like we're pets.
Yeah.
That I need to work for you guys at some point. That sounds so much more fun than anything
It's
I've got going on.
it's a good balance to the stress. And my favorite part about those events is that you can talk to a bunch of people you never otherwise see. And so I work every day with a bunch of business affairs people, and they're like compliance, legal. Can we say that? Can we not say that? And I don't really have to talk to them because my stuff is so much higher in the pipeline.
Hmm.
But I see, like you kind of like get little these like little windows like you guys are dealing with all this bullshit. And so I spent most of the night last night talking to them about like what it's like to work at a place where you have creatives who are pitching insane ideas. Um,
Did they
yeah.
get annoyed at you because like all the pain they have to go through starts with you?
No, no.
Oh, that's good.
And I was telling this one woman who I've been working with a bunch lately, like how much I appreciated what she did because on this side of the copywriting world, we do have to pay attention to things like compliance and the types of claims we're making. And, especially like in your freelance roles where you don't have a whole department to oversee your stuff,
Mm,
you have to be so much more on top of that. And so coming to Wyden was a huge culture shock because there's like, oh yeah, pitch anything. Legal will figure it out.
that's crazy. That's amazing. I like that
Yeah.
though. I think that definitely has benefits because you isolate.
Hmm.
You could just be creative. You haven't got to worry about anything, and then they can tone it down. Which I guess like double-edged sword, but
Yeah. It's good. It's good for the work. And she said that she actually really likes working at Wyden because you get to figure out ways to do stuff. And so she was giving an example where she used to work on like a car account, and the creators wanted to blow up a car for a commercial,
nice.
and she was like, okay, well, we can't blow up the car, but maybe like we can put some explosions around the car. Maybe we can blow up something behind the car, and like that's technically compliant. And just like all the kind of fun
Hmm.
workarounds you have to figure out.
Did you see someone in the copy that Discord shared a car ad in the Copy We Like channel yesterday?
Um,
I really liked it.
I,
I wondered what you would think about it.
let's
It
see.
was it was yesterday. I just wondered what you thought about it. I don't know if you can share your screen and
Um,
show it or not, so everyone else can also view it.
Yesterday, is it a video?
Yes.
Um, have you seen this video? Is it gonna get us banned?
No, no, it's fine.
Okay. What is a good way to do this? Can I do this? Does this work?
I don't know. Sorry everyone for just joining the stream and like totally derailing it. Rod and I will get to reviewing copy soon. I will stay here for at least 1 or 2 reviews until I have to go.
All right, let me. I'll just share my screen like this. Share entire screen.
I'll answer some of your questions in a moment.
Oh God.
Aha. There we go.
All right, you guys can see that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's the one. I don't know if we could be able to hear it, but.
All right, we're gonna watch an ad.
Now you think your truck is totally sick, but this is what I think of your precious 4x4 hang out all day with your stupid parents' truck! Flush it!
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, like again, it's not my world, but I just really like the attention grabbing nature of the start, which is like what if I saw that on TV, I'd be like, what the hell's going on? Immediately look.
It's funny too, because now I feel like that would do really well now because that's a 23-second ad. There's a full story to it that would make really, really good short form content, and it looks very organic. Like that's actually really sick.
Yeah, really. Who shared it? That is a name with characters I cannot read.
Tada no kobuta debu desu. Or sorry, debu hi. Which basically translates to like just a fat little pig boy, oink.
I love having someone who can speak Japanese.
Yeah, sometimes I regret it because that was really read out loud.
Okay. What have we got in the chat? So, oh god, yeah. Fix says for first time ever, Alex isn't about. Yeah, I moved. So I moved. This is my new place. This is my new.
Again, your last place was sick.
This place is the exact same. It's just higher in the building and bigger. So
is this? Did you steal that famous guy's apartment?
No, that's the next one because that's only for sale and it's 2.8 million. So like I need to save up a little bit for that. This place is the one directly under that.
Okay.
So we're like half penthousing, but we're nearly at the penthouse. But we need to buy that like outright, and it's 2.something million. So hopefully in the next kind of like year or two is my hope for that.
Okay.
But right now this is much bigger. This is like just an office, and it's bigger than my other office. I haven't got any wardrobes or anything in here, so it's just. Do whatever I want with my space. I've ordered some stuff for the background, so hopefully we'll look okay.
Nice.
But yeah, so I've moved. So thank you, Victor, for noticing. I don't think I'm gonna put the black stuff up anymore because I'm a lot further away from the wall. But yeah, hey Rod, what niche are you working on that you're dealing compliance with? Well, Rod isn't.
Everything.
He does all
if you put stuff on TV or on the internet for millions of people to see. There will be someone who wants to sue you at some point, or there could be someone who wants to sue you, is what BA would say. So everything I work on, I primarily work on like sports stuff. But yeah, no matter like whether it's sports or automobiles or books or what else do we do? Like DoorDash stuff. So much compliance. And the other thing about that is it's not just your people who do compliance stuff. Whatever your client is, they will also have their own legal department. And so if you are making their life hell, they won't want to give you permission to do like your wackier ideas. And so oftentimes there will be like kind of like email battles between like our compliance department and the client's compliance department, blah, 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 because you're trying to fight for stuff to happen. And it's like, well, technically this is compliant under this law and blah, blah, blah. And someone else would be like, well, actually last week, this person just got successfully sued for this other thing. And we don't want to have to deal with legal costs. So stay away from that idea. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it really is a labyrinth. I suggest you guys never go into legal, but learn enough about it so you can be friends with them.
I mean, they get paid the big bucks.
They do. Shah said, Alex, any tips on post-purchase sequence for apparel brands? So typically just sending something that says like, oh, you would look great in this, or like this works with this. So reference what they've already bought and say like, this works with this. Like that tends to work very well. I've gone.
Oh, I was just resharing my screen. You're good.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear.
I'm not on the screen on stream.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, hey, there we go. I'm so confused. Yeah, so like that's a good way to do it. Just to use the information you already have about what they've bought before and just say like this looks great or like complete the outfit or something like that. Because I think that I've shared my thoughts on this in the Discord recently. Like I don't hate, but like I find working with apparel brands quite boring because there's less of a functional problem you need to solve and more just like, oh, it's kind of about personal preference or style. I know people who just do apparel brands. I work with a few, like I consult with a few, but I definitely prefer talking about like email setup and making sure all the sequences are in place. In terms of post-purchase, like, and just trying to take what they already have, suggest similar lines. That's probably about as specific as you can get. Like, there's not really much more you can do with it. Just sending them a lot of emails. So, sorry, that's not much for advice, but I hate brands where there's not like a problem being solved or it's not like part of a hobby. Anything else? Oh, the Goon Cave was sick though.
The Goon Cave.
It was sick. I liked it, but I'm moving up in the world. I have a table which I'm gonna get rid of. But like it's there right now. I've ordered a nice bookshelf thing. I've ordered a framed thing to go up. I'm going to try and look for a house plant. I've ordered a surprise to go in that corner, which who knows how that's going to turn out. I won't ruin what that is yet. And then nice, thank you. Yes, I agree.
Thank you. It warms my heart.
That's the only reason I joined. Does email marketing for real estate agents work? Do you know what that's about, Rod?
No. Maybe that's a Sean thing. Maybe that's a Sean and Lindsey thing.
My career, if you could clarify what you mean, or if Rod and I were involved in that, or just explain it. Unless you're just asking, does email marketing for real estate agents work? In which case, yes.
Yes. Probably quite important.
Yeah. Okay, and then we've got other people just talking. So nice. So I can be here for like maybe 10, 15 more minutes. So if you want to go through a couple of pieces of copy and we review these,
all right, let's do it. First thing is from the wonderful Mercy. Mercy? I think this is Mercy. Probably. I'm just gonna go with that. Looks like we got some emails. Emails. Contacts. This is going to become spec work. It's a cart abandoned sequence for some kind of ecom product. Question: are these emails too short? Okay. Email number one. Yeah, feel free to jump into. Subject line: first name. Is your Wi-Fi okay? Don't worry, we saved your cart. Hi, name. Did your Wi-Fi lose connection because you forgot to check out your cart containing stuff with pictures? If yes, here's a link to your cart. Button. Thank you. My Wi-Fi did turn off. I'll check it out now. If not, no, my Wi-Fi did not turn off, but I'll still check it out now. Sign off.
What do you think?
It's okay. It might be a little bit too on the nose for me personally. It's like it's a little bit too cute, I guess.
Yeah. This is one of those things. Like, first of all, I like the subject line because that actually, whenever I see cart abandonment sequences, I usually see the same subject line or a couple of subject lines that are very similar. I think Alex, is your Wi-Fi okay? I've not actually seen one that says that before, and I was like, oh, that's cool, and that would definitely stand out in your inbox, like definitely, because it's quite a direct question, and actually it's something people worry about, So like, I would actually be like, oh, what is this? Is this to do with my Wi-Fi? My Wi-Fi is my world, so hang on. However, as kind of to Rod's point, like it's slightly bait and switchy, in which like it's almost so irrelevant from the main subject of the email, which is the cart, like I might see it as a bit like that's as you say, a bit too like shitty. I'd be a bit like, ugh, fuck off,
Yeah.
But personal preference, I think attention-wise, I think that would probably have a higher open rate, which is a big part of just any kind of, especially abandoned cart email. So I think it's definitely worth testing at the very least, as everything is. But the one that always works for me with cart abandonments is just issue with your order ? or like there's a problem with your order ... which like is kind of bait and switchy in the sense that obviously it makes them feel like, oh shit, did I order? Like, oh, I'm not sure I ordered. So they check, and obviously they haven't ordered, but it's still very closely linked to the subject line. So it's not like, oh, it's about this fucking like thing I didn't care about. Whereas Wi-Fi to not ordering this product is kind of like there's not really a connection there. Problem with your order makes you think, oh man, did I actually order that thing? Go on the thing. Oh no, I didn't order it. They're just checking if I want to. It's still linked, if you see what I mean. So it's less bait and switch. The benefit with the one that I've just suggested is also, this is purely conjecture on my part, but I feel like that makes someone go, oh, did I order? And then when they say they didn't order, there's a bit of like disappointment because they probably did actually want the product, so they were considering getting the product. So like, oh, maybe I kind of do want to order it now. But in terms of your question, is it too short? Like cart abandonments, like no, I tend to do the first one like super short and direct with like a link back to the cart. The second tends to be like an objection killer and then like a nudge with a discount if I can run that on the brand. And then the third tends to be like, or the second sometimes quite long form. The third tends to be like a short nudge back, just saying, hey, we're going to kill this cart in like an hour or something. So no, I don't think it's too short.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and the only other thing actually it's probably fine. I was thinking like I was thinking this was like actually like a physical cart with products, and that might be hard to deliver on, but it's cool. It makes it more relevant.
I think it just means like the product that you have in your cart, like which you can do with the dynamic tab.
Yeah. So that's cool. Email number 2. So still haven't bought. Name. Let us help you decide. Take a look at what others think. Hi, Name. If you're still thinking about what to do with your cart, let us help you decide. Here are our happy customers who bought the exact product that you have it in your cart. Testimonials button. Take me to my cart. Sign off. Definitely take another look at the sentence because this is clunky / you have some extra words in there. How do you feel about the word hearer?
Hearer. Oh my god, I didn't even really notice that. Hearer. I would not use that because it doesn't make sense to normal people. I think with this, sorry, Rod, go on.
Yeah, no, I was like, it's grammatically correct and also super awkward.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start writing all my words with a comma, an apostrophe replacing any letter. This email, I think, again, like the person writing this, I think you kind of have like good idea in the sense like, you're trying to think, okay, well, I need to show, that other people have like had good experience with this product. I need to bring it back to the product they want. I think the execution is poor on this email because what this email is trying to do in the body is effectively overcome the objection of like, oh, why might you not have got this product? And kind of taking the general objection of, oh, maybe it's because they're not convinced that it works right now, or like maybe they're not convinced other people have had a success from it, which I think is like the laziest way to look at an objection because it's like you haven't really identified a specific reason someone hasn't bought. You're just kind of plastering them with testimonials, which is better than nothing, but like you should be trying to think, okay, what specific reason might someone not have bought? So I don't know, let's take a I don't know, a speaker, right? I'm just looking like, let's take this speaker, right? Compact small speaker. What's an objection that someone may not have bought a speaker? Maybe it's because they think like there's I don't know, there might be another brand they like, and they're trying to decide between brands. So therefore, like, which tends to be the case when people are looking at speakers or headphones or something where there's loads of different options, but they want to get the best. So it might be they're trying to decide between brands. Therefore, the specific objection you need to overcome is, why would I get this brand over this brand? So you don't just do like, oh, here's a bunch of testimonials of people saying they love it. You do specifically like, let's compare like this to like the next leading product on the market. You don't have to point out another brand, but you just say like this one, like couldn't go louder, like to X decibels, so you can get like volume control. It does this thing, it does this thing. Like this is why to go for it. I'm not saying that's the perfect email or the right way to go. It's just being smart about doing research, about finding what the objection is, and then showing that in the copy. Once you have that, and the email, the body copy is doing that, you can then make the subject line and the reason to open it so much better as well. Because right now it's just, let us help you decide. That's a weak subject line. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care if you're going to help me decide. I don't need help deciding. I've decided no. But if you hit me with, again, coming back to the speaker example, if you hit me with do not buy a speaker like without this, right? ... Or like, do not confirm a purchase without this for your speaker, whatever, where you're going directly on the fact that, oh, well, I am looking for the best speaker right now, and I am trying to compare what the best things are because I want like the best, features on my speaker. I want the best noise, radiation, or like if for headphones, I want the best noise cancelling or whatever. If you can isolate that in the subject line, then, it gives me a reason to actually open rather than just a generic abandoned cart email. So the first one in the sequence is always fine, just being like, hey, problem with your order, or like, hey, did you mean to do this? Something that's like quick, immediate, gets them back on the page quickly because they've already got all the shit they've been deciding fresh in their mind. This one that usually comes either a few hours later or the next day needs to bring them back to get your product top of mind and show why it's great or to overcome that objection. There's no point in just kind of doing another weak email just saying, oh, look, people like it. You could still have testimonials, but they should be backing up the point you want to make.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think that actually gets to a good point too. I think that why this copy is a little bit awkward. I think this would have been a lot easier to write if you'd actually just picked a specific product or like a business to write for, because it feels like this is very vague and generic. And every time you're talking about like, oh, here's a link to your cart, or not that, but like, your cart just got cheaper. Like, could you say like your speakers or whatever products? Like, you could tackle a real objection if you were speaking about a real product, because right now it's like here are happy customers who bought the exact product that you have in your cart. Obviously, it needs to be vague enough to apply to whatever you're selling on your site. But like, if you are selling beauty products, for example, you could talk about like pointed outcomes, or you could like leverage testimonials that are speaking to specific objections that you imagine your people have. But without that level of specificity here, it's just like, okay, and what? Sure.
Agree. Hard agree.
Yeah.
Do we want to tackle any of the questions in chat? Or is there one more email to do?
There's one short one, so let's do the third one, and then we'll loop back to questions. Subject line A, name, your cart just got cheaper. B, price drop alert, item name. Limited deal inside. Hi, name. You're so lucky. Your whole cart just got a lot cheaper. Use this promo code to get a 10% discount until date/time. Code. Button. I'm going to use this code to check out my cart right now. Sign off.
I have
yeah.
No, go.
I like the idea here. Like you were saying, like going through all of it and then dropping like here's a discount as like a last ditch thing is smart. I think you're getting a little bit too cute with the buttons, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go do this thing right now. It's like a little bit too on the nose. I appreciate like the character and stuff, and for the right brand, it might work. And also, you can keep it simpler and have a similar effect. It just feels a little bit too much.
Again, it's just like, to your point in the previous email, and to this, like, your cart just got cheaper. What is my cart?
Yeah.
What is it? And also, how much cheaper? Because like specificity is something you need to bring into these emails, and as Rod said, like that's hard to do when you're not working off a specific product. But your cart just got cheaper is like, okay, so if you have the product front and center, and if they're going to remember what the product was called, or if not, if it's got quite a specific name, it's like a code, like speaker 1865. Instead of just saying speaker 1865 just got cheaper, you can literally just say like you looked at this, like you looked at the speaker, here's 20% off or whatever, or here's like 18% off. That at least puts me back in mind of what the heck like I was even looking at it for. And then it's specific. So, it's not just cheaper, it's 18% off. It gives me something to grab at. Or a dollar amount off, of course, if you can do that. Now, that comes down to kind of like dynamic tags within your email system as to how well you can do that. But my point is, like, that's so much more specific, therefore feels far more real and puts me back in the mind of the product I was actually interested in. I think that you shouldn't lose sight of the fact that someone was already kind of interested in your product to get to a point of cart abandonment. And that's another big mistake I see in cart abandonment emails, particularly in e-commerce. Like people just kind of try to either resell the product from the beginning and kind of act like they need to be reintroduced to it, or they go really kind of like generic like this and really short, and there's kind of nothing to it. Don't do that. Like, rejoin the conversation that was happening in their heads at the point of purchase, which was like, what is the big objection? What can't they quite get over? Obviously, the biggest objection when it comes to cart abandonment is price. That is the big, thing. Harp on about that. Not just you're so lucky your whole cart got a lot cheaper. It's like, don't talk about that. Just say, you can even be as clear, say like, look, we want to make this easy for you. Like, it seems like you wanted this product, so we're giving you an extra $10 off. This will only, and then again, urgency. This discount will only last 24 hours. If you're still considering it, buy it right now. That at least makes it feel like, oh, instead of cutesy and cheap, it's like, oh, well, they actually are referring to something I already thought, giving me a reason as to why it's going to be cheaper. The fact that we want it, we want to make it easy for you, and adding urgency, add that kicker at the end of it's not going to last too long.
Yeah.
So that's my view. And cart abandonment sequences are something I've done many, many, many times. Cool.
Yeah. I think we had a couple questions.
Shoot.
Why do I always experience writer's block even after some research?
Because you're not planning. You're not turning the research into a plan, I bet. I bet you're just doing research and then you're sitting there.
Yep.
Do the research. Use, again, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I literally just finished recording a new IVOC research video, which was like 2 hours long, for the new long course we've got coming out in 2025. And like, people need to go back to the 5-hour video and just look at the research section. There's logic to it. You need to make sure you're following all those steps, and you won't be lost, because you actually translate what people are already saying through your research into beats of copy into real copy. So yeah. I would be willing to bet, motivate me, that you're probably not planning correctly, and you're not actually putting down a structure. You're just kind of then thinking, oh man, how do we start writing? Now I know these things. And if you are still struggling, add more information to your comment.
Yeah, the easiest thing you can do is just outline your copy before you even start writing. Just like, hey, this needs to be here. I need this, and you can just plug and play. Obviously, it would be great to just be able to write beautiful sales pages or emails off the cuff. But the reality is that most of the time you internally have some sort of sense of the beats that the copy needs to flow. And so if you aren't just feeling in a flow state with your writing, go back to those beats first, fill them out, do a good enough job, and then go back and edit for, vibes or whatever.
Cool. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. I think this is the guy from earlier. My agent has 4 services. He says if I get him clients from emails or SMS marketing campaigns, he'll give you a commission. So my question is, can I get him clients from emails and SMS? Yes.
Yeah, you absolutely can. I mean, the most important question next is, where's the list coming from? Does he have a list, or are you also doing lead gen? In which case, you need to figure out where you're getting those signups from. Are you running ads with money? In which case, is it his money? Is he willing to put a budget forward? Or is it not that? Are you acting like an affiliate for him where you can run ads? Are you just going to target via cold outreach where you try and find people who are relevant to his services online and pitch them like that? Need more context, but of course it's possible. Yeah.
What do you guys think is the best way to decide a copy, what type of lead uses? Probably the best way to decide what type of copy a lead uses. It probably comes down to, or it largely comes down to your audience and where you're getting your traffic from. Depending on how aware or relevant your product is to your traffic source, you're going to need to change up how you introduce it to them. So let's say you are advertising on Instagram and your product is a sweatshirt. And let's pretend for a moment you're not just selling through Instagram, but there's some sort of click off thing, and you have a dedicated sales page. That does not need to be a super long, sophisticated like sales page. That is just hey, here's the product, buy it, because people know what sweatshirts are. To use a very different example, if you are selling a survival course, you will need to kind of string people along and tell that story and introduce why they should care about it, because most people, it's never occurred to 99% of people that is a product that they would ever want. So the type of lead you're going to use is going to depend on like what you need to do to persuade that person to buy.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go. 8:30 crept on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So have a good evening, Rod. It was very nice to catch up very briefly.
As always.
Everyone else, you're in fantastic hands. Please be kind to them, Rod. Don't rip them to pieces. Or no, do that. That's what they want. That's what they're paying for.
That's true.
All right, guys. Have a good one. See you later.
Have a good night, dude.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank God he's gone. I'm kidding. Yes, we just answered your question. The answer was yes. Alex and Rod, what's the best on-demand webinar that may still be around that you've ever watched? Looking for webinar script ideas, basically. It's a good question. This is probably a better question to ask in Discord, because we could link stuff and like go look for stuff. I don't have one off the top of my head. And also specify, like, are you looking just for like generic, like good VSLs, or are you looking specifically for like webinars led by somebody to like a live audience? Like we can definitely answer this question, but I just can't like right now. Do we have a video on what a client questionnaire should contain? I actually don't think we do. And I don't know if we've ever talked about that before. That's a good, that would be some good content. I think the reality is that probably we don't use questionnaires like that. Like when we are meeting clients for the first time, like there are questions we'll ask, but we don't necessarily have a formal questionnaire. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, what do you need to know or what do you need to learn from a client? I think very simply, you could boil it down to like, what is the product? What's unique about the product? So like product related questions, what the offer is. And so depending on the product, like there are many different kinds of offers you could run around a product. So for example, if we're talking about like instant ramen, there's what type of ramen is it? Why should people care about it? Why is it tasty? Whatever. The offer is it are you selling single packets? Are you selling like 6 packs? Are you selling a subscription service? Knowing all that stuff is super important, and if you want to sell it. Deliverables, like what do they want from you as the copywriter or marketer? Do they want a sales page? Do they want you to do like the media buying or like the ad buying on whatever like platform you're using? Do they need help like with a website? You need to know that if you're going to write the copy. Delivery timeline, super important to know also. When do they need the copy? And what else? Pricing, super important as well. How are you going to get paid? And then I think that's the basics of it. That's like if they have a product already. If you're doing more like brand development work where maybe they have a product but they don't know how to angle it or like sell it, you might want to do some talking about like what they think is special, what type of brand they want to have, what their background is, how that might inform how you market the product. But that's really more of a bonus thing. And I think the vast majority of work that you'll end up doing is will be more on that, just like, okay, what's the product? How are we selling it kind of side. Yeah. Filet says, I'm tired of the if you've ever disruption in my copy. My biggest issue in copy is the beginning and sounding like a salesman. Can you list some ways to begin a sales copy? there are a billion ways, so I cannot list them all. I think, what's the best way to answer this? I think the best kind of general advice I could give for this is to start in the middle. And what I mean when I say that is when you're writing copy, it almost feels like a lot of beginner copy I see seems like it's trying to announce itself before you actually get into the thing that people care about. So the have you ever, if you've ever, is really just trying to like say to somebody, oh, by the way, this is copy you're reading. And that's the exact opposite of what you want. So for example, if we're imagining something like an email that starts with, have you ever had really bad constipation? Instead of like doing that, just start with like whatever the next sentence is. And so if pragmatically speaking, if you are writing copy and you're running into this problem, just read your copy without like that first sentence or two of like that first inhale. And chances are it's actually going to feel and read a lot better than like using that sentence. I don't want to like just literally tell you some other ways to begin a sales copy, because you're going to run into that exact same problem where 2 weeks from now you're like, oh, I'm using the same thing over and over and over again. It's not about having those, 10 sentences memorized. It's about understanding that the reason the copy feels really stiff is because you're not starting with the interesting part. How should copy outlines look like? The real answer is whatever's functional for you. But sorry, I'm just gonna fuck with this for a second. So like just on this page, so I'll write this out. Like you're gonna have like some version of like intro, middle, close. And we could break that down to like, depending on what it is, maybe we're gonna have like a disruption / like attention grabber. Excuse me. Grabber. More color / like intrigue building, transition. In the middle is going to be like introducing the product, et cetera, et cetera. And you can go into whatever level of detail you need. But it's really just you giving yourself some clues and anchoring so you know that you actually know what you're writing as you're writing. The problem with not doing outlines or not having a sense of what your structure is going to be is that you will just be writing, and you'll look up hours later and be like, okay, I wrote all that copy, but what was the point of that section? Or I realize now that I've written an extra 10 pages in the introduction, and now I feel like I don't have anything to write in the middle, but I can't use the last section as the middle because I wrote it like it was an introduction. And so then you feel stuck and you're trying to like pull stuff around and the whole thing feels really awkward. Yeah. Questionnaires need to be personalized, don't you think? This is a good point. Yes and no. If we're talking about like the questions I was saying a second ago, those are going to be pretty generic to whatever project you're working, or like no matter what project you're working on, whether it is underwear or ice cream, you need to know what the offer is going to be. You need to know like how the product is being positioned or whatever. And that's just a very general thing. When we get more into like the brand specific stuff or differentiating a product from competitors, you will need to have done some background research so that when you get to the point where you're talking to your client, you can ask insightful questions. And so maybe there's a whole other section there of like the questionnaire conversation that's like, what do you do before you even speak to your client for the first time? That is definitely worth having. I run into this like somewhat frequently when I'm interviewing people for work. Like if I go into an interview to like interview an athlete or something, and I haven't done all the research on them, I'll get in there, I'll ask really silly questions, and they're like, "Oh, you're a fucking idiot. I can't trust you, so I'm not going to open up with more interesting stuff." If I do the research and I can point and say, "Hey, you said this thing after this very specific game that was really interesting to me, and no one seemed to catch it. Can you expand on that?" The thing that they say from there tends to be like super, super valuable. And then the ability to ask follow-up questions gets you to a much deeper place. And so if we're going to be selling underwear, for example, I don't know why I picked this as an example, being able to ask not just, "Oh, what kind of underwear is it?" but, what made you choose this specific design or this specific shape? What is what's the function of this? Might open up a whole conversation about how, oh, most people build their underwear this way, and it creates these really awkward moments when you're wearing this type of dress where you see the line in this unflattering way. And so I tried to create the perfect underwear for party dresses, for example. And then that opens up for you as the copywriter a whole new territory of, okay, well, now maybe there's a whole market that we could sell to that is people who wear lots of party dresses. And then that informs everything else about the way that you approach that campaign. So the answer is yes, there should be some level of personalization. You should be doing research before you even get into these interviews with potential clients or clients you do have. The answer to this is yes. You can get clients from email and SMS marketing for real estate. Does our Patreon have step-by-step tutorials to build landing pages? I imagine so, yes. I don't know if we definitely don't have anything that's like, hey, if you are in Squarespace, click this button to do XYZ. But we do have lots of content about writing landing pages and lots of different kinds of landing pages. Yeah, and I'll say too, for anybody, like if you are like interested in our Patreon, one, always feel free to ask questions about what's in there. But two, like if you sign up for whatever reason and you're not satisfied with the content, like just let us know. We'll give you a refund. It's no big deal. Thank you, Jessica, who has informed me that there is in fact a 2-ish hour landing page teaching class video that Alex did on Patreon. And if I had to guess, like there are probably a lot of those. So hopefully those can help. All right, let's look at some more copy. So this is a dental implant homepage. This copy is designed for a B2B dental implant marketing agency. Their clients are dentists who operate specifically with patients who need dental implants. Some of the biggest pain points discovered in research were how frustrating and time-consuming it is working with agencies who give them unqualified leads. Also, how common an 80+% no-show rate was for people who book consults in their practice. I'm focusing on simplicity, predictability, through leads that are income verified and growth. Okay. Cool. Effortlessly grow your practice with qualified, income verified, all on X patients who are ready to commit. I don't know what all on X means. So either that's clunky or I just don't know stuff. Imagine walking into every consult knowing you're only working with patients who need your expertise and can afford it. We deliver income and credit verified patients, so you never have to waste time dealing with the frustration of qualifying leads. Book your free 15-minute strategy session today. Excuse me. Okay. I think this sort of sentence is similar to what someone was talking about earlier, with like this sort of like clunky leads. I think rather than saying, imagine walking into XYZ thing or imagine X situation, just explain the thing. I think this is a much more like just cut out the first sentence, say the second sentence, We deliver income and credit verified patients so you never have to waste time dealing with the frustration of qualifying leads. Great. Very direct. Tells me exactly what it is. If imagine that I am a dentist, orthodontist, whatever. I know that patients need my expertise, and I know it's important that they can afford it. I'm not on your page because I am looking for you to tell me that. I'm on your page because I want someone who can deliver income and credit verified patients so that I don't have to do this stuff. And so it's sufficient for you to just say the sentence. Our partners see an average of 1,000% return on ad spend. Cool. I like it's cool you can actually use these brands and stuff too. Consults, revenue. I might change this ROI thing to ROAS because you're saying return on ad spend. And if you're saying return, your investment, the customer's investment might not be just ad spend. So, for example, they might be spending money with you to purchase a website, or you might build them a website, whatever, which might not be included in the ad spend. And so, by you saying ROI here, that might be misleading. I know in the calculation here, you just have the ad spend and the revenue, but just to be super, super, super clear, I would change this to ROAS, or return on ad spend. No more chasing unqualified leads with our simple 3-step approach. Step 1, geo-targeted lead gen. Step 2, consulting with high intent patients. Step 3, automating your growth. Highlighting your practices. This is cool. I like how you explain what each step actually means. Okay. How we help Dr. Chase scale his practice from 1 million to over 4 million in just over a year. I'd put $signs here if that's what you mean. Before working with Implant Mastery, we're doing 1.2 collections in collections yearly. A little over a year later, we're now doing 4.3 million in collections. This is fine. It's like this headline is saying the exact same thing as this quote. And so I would consider tweaking this headline because it's an opportunity to kind of show a different benefit or something. Even if you were just to say how we help Dr. Chase 4x his business in just over a year, the takeaway from that, or the transformation implied by that, is different than the very literal, we're doing an additional 3 million in sales per year, or in collections per year. So I think it's fine as it is, but this is an opportunity to maybe say something even bigger. More high quality patients, zero frustration. If you're tired of seeing your calendar filled, but hearing about another no-show consult, you're not alone, and it's not your fault. This is exactly why we've developed a unique marketing approach that's specific to the dental implant industry. You'll get personalized ads across all social media outlets that are hyper-targeted, ensuring your practice becomes the go-to in your area. Cool. One thing that's awkward is that you say how we help Dr. Chase do this, and then there's a quote. Oh, I guess this is a video. Okay. This is a design thing, but I would put this video center here, put the quote under, just so it feels like this is the title of a video section, and complete like that, because I was expecting then a whole case study to follow on here. Okay. And then, cool. Only work with patients who are financially ready, so your expertise is never wasted. Few things are more frustrating than finding that near perfect patient who can't afford care, which is exactly why we're vetting every patient who enters your practice. These are the key qualifications you can rest easy knowing we've taken care of. Credit score, yearly income, payment capability. We knock all that out before they book you with your practice. This is definitely the wrong your. You're a partner, not just another client. You'll get I guess be clear that like you're talking about yourselves. You'll get a partner invested in your growth, not just another marketing agency sending ice cold leads that are difficult to convert, let alone even show up for their consult. Our partner retention rate is over 90% for a reason. We specialize in the dental implant industry. And more importantly, we actually care. We believe in taking a different approach to partnering with implant practices, and it starts with crystal clear communications every step of the way. Your front desk will be thrilled with how easy it is talking with fully vetted patients. Other agencies tend to have a cookie cutter templated approach with their call center. But our passionate team of professionals understands that we're helping people get confidence back in their life through smiles, which is what makes us different. This is all fine. I think like the humanizing thing is cool. I wonder like how authentic it actually sounds though. I have a buddy who recently opened a dental practice like in real life, and one thing that we kind of ended up talking about was like there's a whole industry of people marketing to dentists on how to market their agency, and they're trying to sell, oh, here's the perfect website, here's this, here's that. And it turns out that dentists, like most people, have very little knowledge when it comes to marketing. And so like they get sold these overly expensive budgets or plans or for all this stuff they don't need. The content is just like very generic and kind of sucks. And like they kind of feel like they're getting ripped off. And so like, and everybody says the same thing. Oh, we care. Oh, we're this. Oh, we're that. And so I think it's important to try to distinguish yourself as authentic and actually caring. But I don't know if like the best way to do that is by having a section that says that we care. A lot of that feeling and trust is going to come from the interactions you have with them and the ways in which you frame other things. I think this copy does like a decent job of that, but yeah, I don't know if you need this section, even if like the sentiment or what you're trying to do with the section is important. See the difference in your practice within the first week. You'll see a stream of your patients, have a calendar filled with fewer no-show consults, increase your all-on X sales, and have a practice that builds trust with each and every patient that walks through your door, allowing you to finally feel confident knowing your practice has the projected and sustainable growth you've been looking for. This is a lot of promise. There's like, why should I believe you? Like testimonials or case studies or like stats to back it as this is something that I'm sure every person you're pitching has heard before. Percent of dental implant practices are using in 2025. This is saying the same thing. This is also saying the same thing as this. Okay, so I would go with just button underneath. Hold on one second. I'm getting a phone call. Cool. And why we're different. Okay, FAQ stuff. I feel like like this is an opportunity why we're different. Like don't say this, but like, make up a question that lets you answer this question, because no one is going to go to your FAQ section and be like, oh yeah, I really want to read the section on why they're saying they're different. Like even just like very generic stuff, like why do I need qualified leads? Why this, why that? Like the people you're talking to don't have the kind of marketing knowledge you have. And so, making sure that you're explaining everything very simply in terms that they understand is like so important. Yeah. What if we have zero content? This is a good question. Where will you advertise? Sure. Yeah. Cool. So I actually need to hop off for probably 30 minutes. I just got added to like an emergency meeting. So I'm going to come back after that and I will finish going through all this stuff. But yeah, if you guys have any like questions and stuff, feel free to like leave them in the chat. I'll like answer them when we come back. And I'll also like, sorry about that, ping Discord again if you guys just like want an update on like when this is going to recommence. Yeah, so I will catch you guys in a little bit, and we will be back shortly.